a superhero. I wanted to look like a superhero. If I ever will become one, I don't know, but I got to the point to look like one.
Jurassic Paul Dillette is the freak that showed us that if aliens were to reach out to us, he should be sent to the front lines with a tattoo on his chest. Do not mess with us. Here are the 20 freakiest bodybuilders we would want in the front lines. Number 20, Craig Goliath. Many young men have joined gyms and started lifting weights with the purpose of getting as big as possible. If you were to take their deepest thoughts and turn them into a real person, the result would be Craig Goliath. At 6 foot 3 inches, Goliath normally weighs in the neighborhood of 350 pounds, with abs. After competing in several amateur shows from 2007 to 2010, Goliath focused on size and being as big as he could get. His photos have gone viral numerous times over the years since, and his name has been associated with many of the major mass monsters in bodybuilding history, such as Rich Piana and last year's Mr. Olympia, Mamdou Big Ramy Elsbier. That served as motivation for him to really push it and see how much potential he had. Now he's taking his quest for size to a whole new level by joining a death metal band that has a unique connection to the world of bodybuilding. Austrian Death Machine, a band known for their songs paying homage to Arnold Schwarzenegger and his iconic acting films, has made a resounding comeback after nearly a decade of inactivity. Craig Goliath has joined forces with the band and is featured prominently in their latest music video titled No Pain, No Gain.
Craig has the worst case of bigorexia that I've ever seen. I mean, I think he's the world's largest bodybuilder. He fluctuates between 330 and 350 pounds.
Number 19, Justin Compton. Justin Compton really needs no introduction at all. He has been bodybuilding for over 17 years and competitive bodybuilding for over 10 years. He grew up to humble roots in Kentucky, where he first competed in 2008 as a teen, winning his class and the overall. A few years later, he earned his pro card at the 2012 Nationals by winning the heavyweight class. Taking time to allow his body to grow, he took the IFBB Pro League by storm, winning the 2014 Europa Orlando Super Show to qualify for the 50th anniversary of Joe Weider's Olympia. Instead, Justin took off the rest of the year to make the improvements necessary to compete with the best physiques in the world. Justin has 3 professional wins and a top 10 finish at Mr. Olympia under his belt. Over the course of 15 years, he was able to put on close to 130 pounds of lean muscle on his frame. The amount of sacrifice, work ethic, and sheer struggle to grow that much muscle is beyond impressive.
Got Justin Compton up next. Justin's 28 years old.
Yep.
Hails from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, and he is massive.
Number 18, Big Ramy. Mamdou Big Ramy Elsbier is a bodybuilding competitor known for his massive size and insane physique. Born on September 16, 1984, in a small fishing village in Egypt, Ramy's journey from a humble fisherman to the pinnacle of bodybuilding success is an inspiring testament to dedication, perseverance, and relentless pursuit of one's dreams. With the guidance of James, Ramy began his professional bodybuilding career, quickly making a name for himself in local competitions. His first notable victory came in 2012 when he won the Amateur Olympia held in Kuwait. This victory earned him the much-coveted pro card, allowing him to compete in professional IFBB competitions. In the years that followed, Ramy's imposing size, proportionality, and symmetry helped him consistently place in top bodybuilding competitions. His second-place finish at the 2017 Mr. Olympia contest cemented his status as a world-class bodybuilder. Despite narrowly missing the top spot, Ramy's commitment to his craft didn't waver. After a disappointing 2018 season and missing the 2019 Mr. Olympia due to a shoulder injury, many speculated if Ramy would ever realize his dreams of becoming Mr. Olympia. However, Big Ramy silenced his critics in December 2020 when he emerged as the victor of bodybuilding's biggest stage, the Mr. Olympia.
Champion,
Thank you
you've
so
got
much.
fans all over the world. You may be the most popular bodybuilder here tonight.
Number 17, Marcus Rule. Marcus Rule is a legend. Our young readers might not even know him, but he had a huge fan base back in the day. Marcus was the star of the 2000s. He was the freak of the freaks, possibly the biggest mass monster of all time, who even made Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman look small on stage. Of course, we have to add that this wasn't the case every year, as Ronnie elevated his physique to unbelievable heights in 2003 and even surpassed Rule in terms of size. But before that, Rule was the heavier athlete. Earning the nickname the German Monster for his immense size and muscularity, Rule pushed the boundaries of bodybuilding during his career. Though his competitive success wasn't defined by numerous wins, he remains a significant figure in the sport. Rule's defining characteristic was his sheer mass. He possessed incredible upper body development with notably wide shoulders and arms. While his conditioning often fell short compared to some competitors, his sheer size and muscularity captivated audiences and fellow bodybuilders.
I'm sure I'm one of the pro bodybuilders in the pro circuit where I have the biggest shoulders in this business.
Number 16, Josef Grolmus. Josef Grolmus has one of the freakiest side chests of all time. Competing from 1982 to 1990, Josef did not have the longest career in the sport, but that short span saw some pretty incredible performances, with him competing at the Olympia on 2 different occasions. Although he did not win, he scored 10th place in 1986 and 15th in 1987, showing that he had what it takes to be on the stage with the best. Grolmus's passion for bodybuilding began in his teenage years, and his commitment was evident throughout his career. He competed consistently, achieving success at both the amateur and professional levels. Notably, he secured the prestigious Mr. Universe title in the light heavyweight category in 1985, showcasing his well-proportioned and defined physique. Additionally, he claimed multiple European titles, further solidifying his reputation as a top competitor. After moving down the ladder in various pro events, including the 1987 Mr. Olympia where he placed 15th, Josef would relinquish his pro status and move back down to the amateur level. His last major contest was in 1990, when he won the IFBB European Amateur Championship Bantamweight division.
Side chest.
Number 15, Brandon Curry. Brandon Curry has taken the sport by storm in the last decade, winning Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic. He was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and began competing in the early 2000s. Before he was the Prodigy, Curry was a college athlete at Middle Tennessee State University, but he wasn't loved by all. You work hard your whole life, make jaw-dropping levels of sacrifice, and don't quit until you beat literally every last competitor and you are the best in the world. But the smack-talking with Curry got on another level. He didn't have any freak factor, and that's what people didn't like. Kaya has absolutely ridiculous back development and bicep peaks. Bill has that insane fullness and 90s-esque conditioning. Big Ramy is Big Ramy. Brandon is just a complete bodybuilder. The Nashville native played on the school's football team, where he earned a degree in exercise science. After college, he found a local gym in Murfreesboro where a trainer approached him about competing in a beginner show. Curry won Mr. Olympia back in 19 and placed second behind Manduth Big Ramy Elspier for the next 2 consecutive years. Fans were shocked when Curry placed 5th in last year's competition, with some saying he should have won due to his outrageous physique.
How I performed on stage, it was a very good experience, a lot of fun being with some of the fellow pros on stage and being compared.
Number 14, Breon Ansley. Breon is a high-powered mutant of some kind never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live and too rare to die. He is an IFBB pro bodybuilder out of Rowland Heights, California, competing primarily in the men's classic physique division. He grew up very athletic, competing in multiple sports throughout his youth. Following his early success, Ansley decided to turn his attention towards getting his pro card. Initially, when he first started competing, Ansley was in the light heavyweight division but dropped to middleweight. After that, he would attend the 2013 NPC USA Championships, earning an impressive 1st place. This would earn him his pro card, paving the way for his career as a professional bodybuilder. Ansley would take things to the next level in 2017, earning another 1st place victory at the New York Pro. However, it was after this that he would experience a career high when he earned 1st at the 2017 Mr. Olympia in Classic Physique. Moreover, 2018 would see this streak continued, and he would establish his dominance by earning 1st at the Arnold Classic. After this showing, he would defend his title at the 2018 Mr. Olympia, earning yet another 1st place.
And posing in performance. Of course, we all know that we've got the Predator in the house, Kai Green, who's won this show.
Number 13, George Peterson. One of the best freaky bodybuilders we found online that started inspiring us to take an interest in fitness and muscle building is George. Nicknamed Da Bull, Peterson was a star in the bodybuilding scene, appearing at numerous shows, including 4 appearances at the Olympia, 3 times at Classic Physique before moving to the 212 division. Turning pro in 2016, he has won the Tampa Pro twice, once in Classic, once in 212, and was the 2019 Arnold Classic Physique champion. Da Bull's latest championship came in 2020 at the Tampa Pro, IFBB Men's Classic Physique. George Peterson III, known as Da Bull, was a rising star in the bodybuilding world, deeply respected for his dedication, work ethic, and gentle nature. Born in 1985, his passion for fitness bloomed early, leading him to become a renowned figure in the classic physique and the 212 Olympia Showdown divisions. Peterson, known for his impressive physique and charming personality, consistently placed in the top 3 positions throughout his competitive career. He was preparing for his 5th consecutive Olympia appearance when he tragically passed away in 2022 at the age of 37. While the exact cause of death remains undisclosed, the bodybuilding community mourned the loss of a beloved athlete and friend. Number 12, Jay Cutler. The sport of bodybuilding has seen many athletes take part in it to become the best. While hundreds of athletes are affiliated with the sport, only a few make it to legendary status. After the immense success of people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney, and Ronnie Coleman, one man came forth to revolutionize modern-day bodybuilding, and he goes by the name of Jay Cutler. The American bodybuilder won 4 times Mr. Olympia titles and is one of the most iconic modern-day bodybuilders. In 1992, Cutler entered his first competition, which was the Gold's Gym Worcester Bodybuilding Championship. He took home the 2nd place medal from that event. The following year, Jay took his first overall win at the 1993 Iron Bodies Invitational. In the 2000s, Jay emerged as one of the top bodybuilders in the world. He won the Arnold Classic Championship 3 years in a row from 2002 to 2004. People now saw him as the rightful heir to Ronnie Coleman's throne. Cutler would finish 2nd behind Ronnie 4 times before picking up his maiden Sandow Trophy in 2006. In 2001, Cutler found himself in the middle of a controversy as he tested positive for the use of banned diuretics at Mr. Olympia. After a legal battle, Cutler could regain his 2nd place finish at the event.
They want to see how far their potential actually goes, and I think that's the same thing with trying to see what the weight training, of course, getting your body in the right kind of condition, whether it be to be a bodybuilder competitively, just to be fit, or basically to lose body fat. I think anything in progression and success is going to give you that edge.
Number 11, Phil Heath. You're looking at Phil Heath, the 6-time Mr. Olympia, who eats lots of tilapia and works out in a strip mall gym. Heath is an unlikely Mr. Olympia. He grew up on playgrounds in Seattle playing basketball. His backcourt mate on the 1998 state championship team at Rainier Beach High School was Jamal Crawford, still in the NBA. Heath, just 5 feet 9 inches and a naturally chiseled 175 pounds, got a Division I basketball scholarship at the University of Denver. He majored in business and averaged 1.3 points over 4 seasons. Heath looked for another athletic outlet when college ended. He found it in bodybuilding magazines and the University Recreation Center. Heath beefed up to a chiseled 200 pounds and soon began winning regional bodybuilding competitions. He was genetically bequeathed with good bodybuilding genes, narrow joints, and long attachments for proportion and big muscle bellies for bulge that earned him a nickname, The Gift. By 2005, he was a professional bodybuilder. In 2008, he qualified for his first Mr. Olympia. In 2011, he won.
You know that I'm going to absorb that. I'm going to embrace that. And I know how to use that fuel better than they do.
Number 10, Frank McGrath. Frank McGrath is an IFBB professional bodybuilder and sponsored athlete from St. John's, Newfoundland. He rose to fame in the early 2000s when he won his pro card at the 2003 Canadian Championships. When Frank lifts, he lifts heavy and tries to constantly push past his personal bests. On the inclined bench press, he can easily lift 315 pounds for 10 reps without much effort. He loves to hit his shoulders very hard too. During a shoulder session, he typically focuses on side laterals and presses. He starts the session with dumbbell side laterals with an intention of adding lean muscle to the medial head of the deltoid. Following this, he begins to push out military presses, blocking out some reps and holding others short to maximize the time under tension. This is a particularly strenuous exercise, but Frank follows it up with 30 front raise reps while holding a 45-pound plate. While Frank is famed for his huge arms today, he says that he was actually the small boy in class growing up. He idolized superheroes on television while wanting to be as strong as Arnold Schwarzenegger. After a successful start to his professional career in 2003, Frank suffered a serious injury in training, followed by another in a car crash. He didn't let this put an end to his career though, returning to training as soon as he could.
Me now, I try to make every moment count and not waste any more time. Just make things happen now.
Number 9, Michal Krizo. Michal Krizo is a Slovakian bodybuilder. He began training at the age of 15 and entered his first bodybuilding competition in 2017. The competition took place in Michalovce, Slovakia, and Krizo won gold. His first international competition was later in the same year. Krizo took second place, securing himself a solid reputation in the world of elite bodybuilding. Krizo has competed in the IFBB Pro League, Mr. Olympia competitions, and many elite pro bodybuilding events. His impressive physique has drawn a lot of attention from fans. His body is unusually symmetrical, and through training, he has achieved what fans consider a near-perfect body structure. Trained by Alexander Hlobik, Mikhail Krizo has obviously worked incredibly hard on his physique. Much of his training regime is shared on his YouTube channel, where he and trainer Alexander Hlobik demonstrate the effort required to create an elite pro-level physique. The channel also includes some diet advice given by Alexander Hlobik directly, along with a few humorous videos. He always performs at least 3 sets per exercise, with around 12 to 20 reps per exercise, depending on which one he is performing. Krizo weighs in at 290 pounds and is seriously bulky. His pecs and arms are particularly impressive. Many spectators have commented on his uniquely symmetrical appearance, with both sides of his body equally huge.
When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength.
Number 8. Kevin Levrome. Freaky, pumped, massive look, and ultravascular pretty much summarizes Kevin. In 1992, he launched one of the all-time greatest pro careers by winning a show a week after his debut and placing a stunning second in the Mr. Olympia. It was a precursor to the dominance that followed. He went on to win more open pro shows in the 1990s than any other competitor. He is one of the strongest bodybuilders ever, but don't take our word for it. You could watch him incline pressing 455 pounds 4 times shortly before the 1998 Mr. Olympia and bench pressing 405 pounds 6 times that same year. You can also see him cranking out 500-pound behind-the-neck shoulder presses and 700-pound hack squats back in the day. Pound for pound, he was one of the world's strongest bodybuilders when he won the 1991 NPC Nationals. Being that Kevin Levrome competed at the professional level and was a front-runner at the Mr. Olympia for a number of years, his training was very intense and it was fairly unique. For starters, Kevin Levrome trained using a push-pull-leg split with lower repetitions, often staying in the 6 to 8 rep range on his working sets. He also trained with a ridiculous amount of set volume.
And discipline. It taught me sacrifice, and it just taught me how to trust my decisions, you know?
Number 7. Flex Wheeler. Born into poverty and a life of abuse, Kenneth Flex Wheeler has overcome endless roadblocks and setbacks and made a name for himself as one of the best bodybuilders throughout the 1990s. Like most heavy-set bodybuilders, Flex used a lot of hypertrophy and heavy weights with low reps. He'd work out using split routines, German volume training, and progressive overload. Being the size he was back in his competition days, Flex didn't waste time in the gym. It was all or nothing. The legend is highly decorated from a long career in the sport, having won the Ironman Pro several times, as well as the Arnold Classic, and having placed second at Mr. Olympia. Flex Wheeler competed in 1983 for the first time, but his first win was at the 1985 Teen Mr. America Medium Tall. In 1992, Flex earned his pro card by winning the USA Championships heavyweight and overall. After a short career as a police officer, Wheeler focused full-time on becoming a professional bodybuilder. This would start the beginning of his legacy, winning the 1993 Arnold Classic, the second most prestigious event behind none other than the Mr. Olympia competition. This was a record number of wins for the Arnold Classic at the time. He also won the Arnold Classic in 1997, 98, and 2000 and is a 5-time Ironman Pro winner, in addition to having placed first at the France Grand Prix, South Beach Pro Invitational, Night of Champions, and Hungarian Grand Prix.
What a great challenge you put forth earlier in the year. You said at 52, I'm going to get back on that Olympia stage. I want one more shot.
Number 6, Chris Cormier. Chris the Real Deal Cormier is an IFBB professional bodybuilder from Palm Springs, California. He ranks among the best professional bodybuilders of all time. Chris began competing right away. In 1994, he posed at 5 competitions. He managed to place in the top 10 in all of them, taking a second at the 1994 Ironman Pro Invitational, which allowed him to qualify for the Mr. Olympia, a dream come true. The Mr. Olympia is perhaps the most prestigious tournament of all time, and Chris stood alongside the best in the sport. He ultimately came in 6th place, but managed to beat the likes of Nasser El Sombati and Ronnie Coleman. In 1995, he competed in his first Night of Champions tournament. He would place 4th at this show, proving his worth alongside another array of bodybuilding stars. After taking another top 10 at the Olympia, as well as top 5 spots at a long list of other shows, he returned to the Night of Champions in 1997 and took first place.
Chris Cormier is the perfect hybrid bodybuilder. I mean, he had the crossover between all the size and...
Number 5, Ronnie Coleman. When you think of the bodybuilding landscape in the late 90s and early 2000s, one name rises above all the rest: Ronnie Coleman. For nearly a decade, the King laid waste to his competition, securing a record 8 Mr. Olympia titles and 26 pro wins during a career that revolutionized the entire sport. Beyond his performances on stage, Coleman is also remembered among pure strength athletes as one of the strongest bodybuilders ever, thanks to feats like his iconic 800-pound squat, which has more than 60 million views on YouTube. Given his sheer size and strength, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Coleman briefly dabbled in the world of powerlifting early in his career. He even won a handful of deadlift-only meets in Texas in his 20s, and he continued to use heavy compound lifts throughout his Olympia run. Though he's still known for feats like an 800-pound deadlift and a 495-pound bench press, he also performed more traditional bodybuilding workouts, like this back routine that combines free weights and machines. His 8th and final Olympia win came in 2005, when he tied Lee Haney's mark for the most titles ever. He looked to secure sole possession of the record in 2006, but a dialed-in Cutler finally managed to dethrone his longtime rival once and for all after a 5-year pursuit. Coleman attempted a comeback in 2007, but he tumbled down the standings to 4th place. It was his final show as a professional bodybuilder.
You gotta get this right. This is heavyweight. Oh, shucks.
Number 4, Jurassic Paul Dillette. Paul Dillette is one of the most genetically gifted bodybuilders of all time, rivaling the likes of Sergio Oliva. It's too bad he never won an Olympia because of his asthma and nerve issues. He rose to fame in the 90s after earning a top 10 title at the 1993 Mr. Olympia and placing 4th in his first Arnold Classic. He is widely regarded as the mass monster of the 1990s because of his massive frame and muscle mass. However, he did not weigh more than 260 to 265 pounds at any point in time during his bodybuilding career. Dillette's massive appearance was an illusion created by his body proportions. He made sure that joints on his body were smaller and the muscles were more full. This made him look bigger on stage than he actually was. But the veteran bodybuilder could not have achieved this appearance without an effective training method. At the peak of his bodybuilding career, Dillette followed an arduous training routine. He usually trained twice every day and also incorporated cardio training into his workout regimen. Dillette did not lift weights early in the morning. Instead, he would do fasted cardio at 6:30 in the morning. The Canadian's first weight training session started at 12:30. He rested for 3 to 4 hours after the workout and then headed back to the gym for a second training session. He made his professional bodybuilding debut at the 1993 Arnold Classic and finished 4th at the show. He then returned to the stage in the Ironman Pro Invitational and secured another 4th place finish. Dillette's Olympia debut came that same year. To the surprise of many, the Canadian surged into the top 7 at the show and achieved a respectable 6th place finish.
The scariest, most genetically gifted bodybuilder ever.
Number 3, Günther Schlierkamp. He won only one pro show, but what a show it was. In a career that spanned 13 years and 39 contests, Günther Schlierkamp made the top 3 only 3 times. It's been close to 2 decades since he last competed, and he might have faded into history if not for the fact that his victory hit bodybuilding like a tornado. Somehow, someway, he conquered Ronnie Coleman in the middle of the King's record run of 8 Olympia wins. Born February 2nd, 1970, Günther grew up on a farm in Germany. When he was 12 and saw Conan the Barbarian, he realized there were physically superior beings among all us called bodybuilders. At 16, he was finally allowed to join a gym, and his farm-trained 6'1" frame filled out quickly. A few years later, he won the heavyweight classes of the German, European, and World Championships. The G-Man finished a shocking 2nd in a show behind only Ronnie Coleman in 1995, his 2nd pro year. Then came a lot of nothing. In 24 pro shows from 1996 to 2001, Schlierkamp finished in the money only 3 times, and even then just barely. Some years he received a special invite to compete in the Mr. Olympia. Other pros grumbled about it, but in the end, it didn't matter much because he always left on a proverbial slab, gored through the heart.
Like a superhero. If I ever will become one, I don't know, but I got to the point to look like one.
Number 2, Kai Green. Known as the Predator, Kai Green is one of the greatest bodybuilders in the modern era of the sport. After winning numerous competitions and placing highly in Mr. Olympia shows throughout his career, he became widely recognized around the world for his incredible physique. Before his 19th birthday, Kai Green turned pro with a natural organization and held the distinction of being the youngest natural professional bodybuilder in the world. Kai's pro status allowed him to take his competitive aspirations to a larger stage. Before every workout, Kai Green stretches and does ab workouts for 15 to 20 minutes. He says that the core is an integral part of every exercise, so it's important to awaken the abs before you start workouts. Plus, by working your abs out before you start, there's no excuse to not do them after a hard workout. In 2011, Green began working with preparation coach George Farah and placed first in the 2011 New York Pro Championship. His third-place win at Mr. Olympia in 2011 qualified him for the 2012 contest, so he did not compete at the 2012 New York Pro in order to focus on Mr. Olympia. As documented in his breakout role in Generation Iron, he placed second at the 2012 Mr. Olympia, the 2013 Mr. Olympia, and the 2014 Mr. Olympia. After becoming widely recognized throughout the fitness industry, he began building his identity. His hair, physique, and offstage performances became iconic. He was given the nickname The Predator by his fans around the world.
Until you try to put 805 pounds on your back and squat down to the floor, then you realize, I really there's something else that has to be motivating me to do that, because there's no way I can do that and say I'm a nice guy.
Number 1. Greg Kovacs. Bodybuilders are not meant to be super lean and jacked when they reach upwards of 350 pounds, but there appears that there was indeed a bodybuilder who blasted past that benchmark, weighing in at 420 in the off-season. This was Greg Kovacs, who was literally a beast of a man, known as the Gentle Giant. He is a Canadian bodybuilder who left an indelible mark on the world of bodybuilding with his massive size and unparalleled strength. Standing at a towering height of 6 feet 4 inches, Kovacs was one of the biggest bodybuilders to ever grace the stage. Greg Kovacs' competitive career in bodybuilding began in the 1990s, and he quickly gained attention for his massive size and strength. He competed in prestigious competitions such as the Mr. Olympia, the Arnold Classic, and the IFBB Pro League, among others. Kovacs' towering presence on stage with his bulging muscles and thick, dense physique made him a formidable competitor and a force to be reckoned with.
Showcasing his impressive muscle mass and definition, Gregory worked extremely hard in the gym, as evidenced by his impressive body measurement. His thighs were 36 inches in circumference, his chest 63 inches, and his enormous 25-inch of monstrous arm.
We understand that this list would seem subjective to some, but we believe all the individuals mentioned here had the freakiest physiques in the industry. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.